Hey everyone. I thought I would just sit here for a few minutes and put in some hand quilting stitches. As the song goes, nothing could be finer than to sit in my recliner in the evening. I save my hand quilting time for evening. And I am down to, 5.5 blocks left until I am done with this quilt, which is why I am on such a tear to get the next one pieced so that it can be basted so that it can be put in my hoop. I love my machine quilting, but nothing settles my evenings down like simple needle pulling thread. My hoop is 14 inches, and I like to quilt towards myself. I'm not good at turning corners, so I will stitch a length and then I will turn the hoop and then work it again to the next corner. So if you've done machine quilting before, you might be familiar with the term continuous curve quilting, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. It adds a nice gentle curve to the shapes instead of simply outlining. And I'm also trying to look in the camera and seeing if you can see where my needle is. This is a new neck-held phone holder. None of them are perfect. The chest one wasn't perfect. This one wiggles a little bit as I move my body. So I apologize if you get the shakies with this. Okay, so now I'm going to run this place here, and then I'm going to go straight across here, and then I'm going to do continuous curve in that triangle, and I will end my thread right back there. So you can see how nice those curved lines look when they're stitched. Yes, I do have to stitch into the seam allowance just a little bit, and it can be kind of thick for a couple of stitches, but then I get right out past the 1/4 inch. And the recycled shirt plaids are really nice to hand quilt through because they've been washed and they're soft. They've been worn, and yeah, they're used, but I love the shirt plaids. They give an instantly vintage feel to the quilts. And I like to hand quilt regular new off the bolt quilt shop fabric also. But I think my favorite is the recycled shirt plaid. So I'm just coming out right at this corner, and then I'm going to rotate my hoop because I like to stitch toward me. We're going to go straight across. And I'm just eyeballing. Sometimes I'll mark the quilting design, but these squares are just really easy to eyeball. And if the lines are not perfectly straight, well, neither is my patchwork. And really, I like the organic look of them just being, whatever they are. And if they get a little curve in the line, that's okay. So I load about 7 stitches on my needle. And maybe that's a thick spot right there. So I'm going to just do 1 stitch there. And then I'm going to rotate my hoop. And we're going to go from this line down to here. With only 5 blocks or so left to quilt, I'm hoping to have this one done in a week. Each block takes me, a good evening to hand quilt. It's not a fast process by any means. But I love it. You work pretty hard to get these calluses built up, so you don't want too much time to go between the finish of this quilt and the next one, or you'll lose your calluses. Okay, right into the corner there. Oh. So people say, do you use anything to pull your needle? And usually what I do is I use my thimble and I push the end of that needle as far as it can go. And then I usually don't need to have a needle puller. Okay, so we're going to do this line. And looks like my length of thread is just right. It will run out just about the time that I am to that next corner that ends this pass as far as I can go. Okay, right into that corner, and then I'll turn the hoop, and then I kind of curve out. So maybe 2 stitches there. That'll take me right to that corner. And I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. The neck holder thing is kind of weird. And I've got a knot. There we go. I just kind of angle out until I'm about 1/4 inch from the seam. And then I'll just sew straight for a while. And then when I get close to that next corner, I'll start to curve in so that my stitching comes out right at the corner. I'm sorry if my overhead light is creating a halo and some shadows, but I need the light to be able to see what I'm doing. There's the thread. It's kind of hard to see. I'm using chocolate brown thread on this dark green, so it was harder for me to see. Okay. And I just broke my thread. So it looks like that's as good a time as any to end this video. I'll have to rethread that and then knot my thread off. So this is where we are today. Almost done with this block, and then I will move the hoop over to this one over here and we'll start another one. Have a great evening, everybody.